Hello everyone, and welcome back to today's most gripping developments. Imagine this. The most delicious meal you just cooked for the love of your life turns out to be your last meal before crossing over to the other side. Tien and Jack just had the happiest day of their lives, but they never suspected that the Grim Reaper had blended into the market crowd, silently following them right to their doorstep. Absolute terror. Inside the fruit basket wasn't fruit, but a note written in blood. Did it taste good? Get ready to leave this world. Still reeling from the shock, the villa gates creaked open, revealing a cold, stark white funeral wreath waiting for them engraved with the words, "In memory of Mr. and Mrs. Jack." Who did this? Who had the audacity to send a death warrant in the middle of this stormy night? Where is he hiding in that dark garden? Or is he already inside the house? Jack and Tien's fate is hanging by a thread. Don't take your eyes off the screen. Hit like and subscribe right now to help me unmask this mysterious enemy hiding in the shadows. The nightmare starts now. Time drifted by, and the summer downpours gradually gave way to brilliant golden sunshine. At the quiet lakeside villa, where Jack brought Tien to recuperate life, was returning day by day. Thanks to Jack's sleepless nights of care and Mrs. Land's nutritious soups, Tien's health made a miraculous recovery. The once shattered fragments of her memory were now fully pieced back together. She remembered everything. She remembered who the enemy was. And most importantly, she remembered the person who loved her more than life itself. That afternoon in the garden filled with white roses that Mrs. Lan planted herself, Tien sat in her wheelchair watching Mrs. Lan busy pruning the branches. Choked with emotion, she wheeled herself closer and took Mrs. Lan's hand. "Mom, I'm sorry. I'm 1,000 times sorry." Startled, Mrs. Lan turned around to see her daughter-in-law sobbing. "Tien, honey, what's wrong? Are you in pain?" Tien shook her head, tears streaming down onto Mrs. Lan's hand. "I remember now. I remember that day in the hospital I knocked the porridge bowl out of your hand. I pointed at your face and called you a murderer. I'm such an unfilial daughter-in-law. You were so good to me, yet I repaid kindness with hatred." Mrs. Lan listened, breathed a sigh of relief, and hugged Tien tight into her chest. She patted her back like soothing a child. "You silly girl. I was never angry with you. You were sick and panicked back then. I couldn't love you enough, let alone be angry. Let's just forget about that, okay? As long as you remember me now, that's enough. I just need you to get healthy and be my good daughter-in-law, and I'm happy." Watching the scene from afar, Jack felt a sting in his eyes. Finally, the two most important women in his life had found common ground. The wall of misunderstanding had crumbled. He walked over, knelt beside them, and held both their hands. "So our family is reunited. Tien, you're healthy, and Mom has everything ready. Next week, let's go try on wedding dresses. I don't want to wait another minute." Jack's proposal made the atmosphere skip a beat. Mrs. Lan was visibly excited. "That's right. We must have the wedding immediately. I checked the dates. Next month is extremely lucky. I've already custom ordered a wedding dress with 1,000 crystals for you. You will definitely be the most beautiful bride in the world." Jack looked at Tien with anticipation, but he realized her eyes didn't hold the excitement he expected. Instead, there was avoidance. She lowered her head, her hand unconsciously moving to touch her left chest, where a thin layer of silk covered the long, jagged surgical scar from the cancer operation. I feel a bit tired. Let me think about it. Tien mumbled, then wheeled herself straight into her room, leaving Jack and Mrs. Lan looking at each other in confusion. That night, Jack saw Tien standing in front of the bathroom mirror for a long time. The door was slightly ajar. He was about to push it open, but stopped when he heard sobbing. Through the crack, he saw Tien taking off her nightgown. She stood naked before the mirror, staring at her body. A body that was gaunt and pale. And most painfully, one of her breasts was no longer whole after the tumor removal surgery. The raw red scar ran long like an ugly centipede across her pale skin. Tien touched the scar, then burst into uncontrollable tears, clawing at the mirror as if to shatter the reflection. Ugly, monster, you are a monster, she cursed herself. How do you deserve to wear a wedding dress? How do you deserve to stand next to him? He is a successful, perfect businessman, and you are just a cripple, a patchwork body. Standing outside, Jack felt his heart being crushed. He had saved her life, but he had forgotten to heal her soul. She was insecure. She was terrified that she was no longer a desirable woman in his eyes. The next morning, after Jack had left for work, a package arrived at the villa. The maid brought it to Tien. Miss, there's a letter for you. No sender name, just a postmark. Tien curiously opened the envelope. Inside was a scrawled, handwritten note and a photo. The moment she saw the handwriting, Tien's hands began to tremble violently. This handwriting, she would never forget it. It was from her ex-mother-in-law. The content of the letter was short, but dripping with venom. You think you've won. I might be in prison, but I'm still watching you. Heard you're marrying Jack, ha ha ha. Do you really think he'll love a damaged woman like you forever, men? They only feel pity. The moment he sees that grotesque, scarred body of yours, he'll vomit. He'll leave you for someone else. You're a curse. You put me in jail, so you will never find happiness. I curse you. Tien dropped the letter to the floor. The attached photo slid out. It was an old picture of her, but someone had scribbled over her face with a red marker, making it look like blood was streaming down. The curse from behind bars poured gasoline on the smoldering fire of insecurity inside Tien. She was right. She wasn't whole anymore. She was a burden. Her newfound confidence was extinguished instantly by this single letter. Tien collapsed on the floor, clutching her head and screaming. The ghost of the past hadn't let her go. Even from behind bars, she knew exactly how to use psychological warfare to kill her all over again. Ignoring Tien's avoidance, Jack remained determined to take her wedding dress shopping that weekend. He thought that seeing herself looking gorgeous in the mirror would change her mind. He had no idea about that mysterious letter. At the city's most luxurious bridal showroom, the staff brought out the Swan Queen gown, sparkling with crystals. Jack smiled, kissing her forehead. Go try it on. I'll wait. Tien stepped into the fitting room, her legs feeling like lead. The assistant helped her zip up the dress. It was strapless, exposing her neck and chest. But looking in the mirror, Tien didn't see beauty. She only saw the scar. Under the bright-fitting room spotlights, the scar seemed to grow, becoming clearer, redder. It was mocking her. The words from the letter echoed in her ears. He'll vomit when he sees you. You're a monster. No. Tien screamed. She ripped the veil off her head, tearing at the lace on the bodice. The terrified assistant backed away. "Miss, please calm down." Jack and Mrs. Lan, hearing the blood-curdling scream, kicked the door open and burst in. The scene before them froze them in place. Tien was huddled on the floor, the $1,000,000 dress crumpled. She clutched her chest, tears streaming her entire body trembling. Tien, what's wrong?" Jack rushed to hold her. "Don't come near me!" Tien shoved his hand away, backing into the corner, eyes wide with panic. "I won't marry you. I can't marry you. Look at it. Look at this monster." Tien pulled the bodice of the dress down, exposing the ugly scar to Jack and everyone in the shop. "See, I'm not a woman anymore. I'm a cripple. Why marry me out of pity? I don't need it. I'd rather be alone forever than let you endure this disgusting body." Dead silence filled the room. Mrs. Lan covered her mouth, sobbing. The shop staff looked away in pity. Jack stood there, looking at the scar, then into his wife's agonizingly painful eyes. He didn't feel disgust. He only felt pain. Pain because she had endured this suffering alone for too long. But before Jack could say a word to comfort her, ring, ring. Jack's phone rang. An unknown number. He picked up unconsciously. A distorted, deep voice echoed from the other end. "So your wife won't marry you? Makes sense. Who would dare marry, knowing that wedding will turn into a funeral?" Jack snapped. "Who are you?" "Who I am doesn't matter. What matters is, I'm holding a special wedding gift for you two. A gift related to the night your wife was pushed off the cliff. You think only that old hag and Hung were involved. You're dead wrong, son. The game has just begun." Beep, beep, beep. Jack dropped the phone. He looked at Tien crying desperately on the floor, then looked out the showroom's glass window. Across the street, the window of a black car rolled down. A man in sunglasses smirked at him, then revved the engine and sped off. "Ladies and gentlemen, the dream wedding has shattered right in the fitting room." Not only is she battling physical insecurity, but Tien is also haunted by a curse from prison. And even more terrifying, that phone call revealed a shocking truth. The ex-mother-in-law didn't act alone. There is a third person, a true final boss, still at large, watching their every move. Who is he? What is his connection to the case from years ago? Why did he choose this moment to appear? Can Jack convince Tien to overcome her insecurity and become his bride? Or will they have to cancel the wedding to face the massive storm about to make landfall? Tien refused the wedding, but the enemy did not refuse to hunt them down. After the incident at the bridal shop, the air between them was heavy. Jack took Tien back to the suburban garden house, the place his mother had prepared for them to rest. The car rolled slowly over the gravel road. Tien sat in silence, her hand still clutching her chest where the scar throbbed after her emotional breakdown. Back home, instead of going to her room, Tien asked Jack to wheel her out to the ancient tree in the backyard. The breeze was cool there, overlooking the orchard that was ready for harvest. Tien took a deep breath, gathering all her courage to hold Jack's hand. "Honey, about the wedding," Jack quickly cut her off. He knelt beside her wheelchair, looking at her tenderly. "You don't need to say anything. I understand. I was too rushed. I apologize for not thinking of your feelings. Tien shook her head, gently stroking her fiancé's gaunt face. No, it's not your fault. It's me. I haven't overcome this insecurity yet. The wounds on my body have healed, but the wounds in my heart are still bleeding. I'm afraid that I'm not worthy, afraid that those threats will hurt you and our family. Can you give me more time? Wait until I'm truly ready, until I find myself again. When that time comes, I will wear the most beautiful dress for you. Jack smiled a smile as vast and forgiving as the ocean. He kissed her forehead. Okay, I'll wait. 1 year, 10 years, or a lifetime, I'll wait. As long as you are happy. Since we aren't being a bride and groom right now, how about we be farmers? Mom's fruit trees are dropping ripe fruit all over the ground. It's a waste if no one picks them. Do you want to go harvest them with me? Tien's eyes lit up. It had been so long since before the tragedy that she had touched the soil or plants. She nodded. I want to. I want to work. I want to feel useful again. That was the first turning point. Tien decided to dry her tears and take action to heal herself. The next morning, while the dew was still fresh on the leaves, the reluctant farmer couple was out in the garden. Jack didn't let Tien do any heavy lifting. He set her on a small stool and gave her a bamboo basket. Her job was to wipe the dirt off the grapefruits and oranges he picked and arrange them neatly in the basket. Jack climbed the ladder, reaching for the plump, green-skinned grapefruits. He cracked jokes as he worked. Look at this round, just like my head after that bad haircut the other day, right? Tien burst out laughing. Her clear laughter rang out in the quiet garden, dispelling the gloom of the past few months. She carefully took each fruit from Jack's hand. The rough texture of the grapefruit peel and the strong scent of citrus essential oil made her soul feel strangely relaxed. She realized that even though her hands were weak and her body was scarred, she could still work. She could still create value. Jack, there's too much. We can't eat all this, Tien said, looking at the mountain of produce. Jack wiped sweat from his forehead and winked. Then we'll go sell it. You forget your husband is unemployed. Now after selling the company, to save his wife, gotta earn some cash to make it back. This afternoon, let's go to the district market and open a fruit stall. You be the boss, I'll be the coolie. Deal. Jack's crazy but practical idea made Tien excited. Yes, she needed to face society. She couldn't hide in her shell forever. Deal. I'll be the sassiest fruit stall owner in this market. You better work hard. For the first time after a series of hellish days, people saw Tien's eyes sparkling with such an intense joy for life. The family's old pickup truck, loaded with fruit, rolled into the district market. The afternoon market was noisy and bustling. The smell of raw fish, the scent of herbs, the haggling, the honking. It all created a symphony of ordinary life. At first, Tien was a bit timid. She pulled her hat brim down low to hide her gaunt face. But Jack was always by her side, holding her hand as he led her to their temporary stall. Step right up, folks. Homegrown, green skin, grapefruit. Sweet as my love for my wife right here. Jack's humorous sales pitch made the whole corner of the market burst into laughter. The ladies gathered to buy. Seeing Jack handsome and charming, and Tien in her wheelchair, helping her husband count money, everyone felt moved and supported them enthusiastically. Tien was busy weighing fruit and collecting money. She forgot her insecurities. She was engrossed in chatting with strangers. "Yes, these oranges are very sweet, ma'am." "Thank you, Grandma. Here is your change." Being busy helped her forget the pain. Happiness sometimes is just immersing oneself in the flow of ordinary life like this. However, amidst that joyful atmosphere, trouble began to creep in. While Jack was bending down to pick a grapefruit for a customer, Tien suddenly felt a chill down her spine, an uncomfortable feeling of being watched. She looked up, scanning the crowded market. In the fish corner, about 20 meters away, was a man wearing a black jacket and a baseball cap pulled down to cover his face. He wasn't buying anything. He was just leaning against a pillar, staring straight at their fruit stall. In his hand, he held a phone, appearing to be filming or taking photos. Tien's heart pounded. She narrowed her eyes, trying to see clearly. When their eyes met, the man quickly turned away, pulled his cap lower, and vanished into the crowd. "Who is that?" Tien shuddered. She was about to call Jack, but seeing him happily laughing with customers, she stopped. "Maybe I'm just paranoid. Maybe he was just curious, seeing me in a wheelchair." She tried to reassure herself, but a vague sense of unease had begun to take root in her heart. By dusk, the couple had sold out the entire fruit stall. Jack held a stack of small bills, grinning like he had just won the lottery. "Wifey, we hit the jackpot today. We made almost 2 million dong. We're rich." Tien looked at her husband, covered in sweat and dirt, and felt an infinite sense of compassion welling up inside her. A CEO who used to sign billion-dong contracts was now overjoyed by a few bucks from selling grapefruit. All because of her. They stopped at the meat and vegetable stalls to buy ingredients for dinner. Tien insisted on cooking. "You worked hard today. Let me cook. I want to make you a proper meal. Consider it my thank you." Jack tried to stop her, but seeing the determined look in his wife's eyes, he relented. "All right, but I'll be the sous chef. No touching the big knives." The cozy little kitchen filled with delicious aromas. Tien sat in her wheelchair, carefully seasoning a pot of sour snakehead fish soup, Jack's favorite dish. The sizzle of the braised pork in the clay pot, the aroma of fried shallots, the bubbling of the rice cooker. These simple, ordinary sounds had been missing from their lives for far too long. Watching Jack's back as he hunched over washing vegetables, Tien secretly wiped away a tear. "I have to get better. I have to protect this happiness. No one is allowed to break this ever again." Dinner was served under the warm yellow light. Tien picked the best piece of fish for Jack. "Eat up. Thank you for not abandoning me when I was at my ugliest, my absolute worst." Jack held her hand across the table. "Don't say crazy things like that. To me, you are always beautiful. This meal tastes better than any 5-star restaurant I've ever been to, because it's seasoned with love." They clinked their glasses of orange juice. A moment of peace so sweet it was heartbreaking. They talked about the future, about using the fruit money to buy new seedlings, about fixing the porch roof. It seemed like the storm had stopped right outside their door. But ladies and gentlemen, life has a cruel way of playing tricks on us. Dinner was over, and Jack stood up to clean. He brought in the market basket from earlier to put it away. As he pulled out the remaining bags, a small black piece of paper fluttered to the floor. Jack bent down to pick it up. He thought it was just a receipt, but no. On that black paper, written in blinding red ink, was a single line. "Was the food good? Now that you're full, get ready to depart. Your wedding gift is waiting at the gate." Jack's face went pale. He rushed to the window, looking out at the estate's main gate. Under the sickly yellow street lamp and the sheet of white rain, he saw something. Not the black car, but a funeral wreath. A stark white wreath lying haphazardly right in front of the iron gate, soaked in the rain. And on the mourning ribbon, the names were written, "In memory of Mr. and Mrs. Jack, to Tien." The chopstick in Tien's hand dropped to the floor. Clack. She had also seen the note in Jack's hand, the stalker at the market. He'd gotten close enough to slip this note into their basket without them even knowing. He had followed them all the way here. The happy gratitude dinner had suddenly turned into the Last Supper just as threatened. Who is he? Why is he arrogant enough to deliver a funeral wreath right to their doorstep? Is the house even safe? Or has he planted a time bomb somewhere? What will Jack and Tien do to survive this fateful stormy night when the enemy is standing right at their gate? All will be revealed in the next episode, Night of Terror, the funeral wreath at the gate, and the gunfight in the rain. Comment "Stay safe" right now to pray for our couple's safety. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Goodbye, and see you again.